Well, hello and welcome to my oh, that was going to be a lot slicker. Let's try that again. Welcome to my live stream. My name is Cody C. Engdahl. I'm the author that you know. I'm the author of six novels, one novella, which is absolutely free and available to you right now. Uh, two nonfiction. You can kind of say three nonfiction works. They're very short though. They're not very impressive, but the novels are. I'm very proud of, and so is the novella. Hmm. Um, and like I promised last week, I had thought about doing a second live last week, and I decided to wait. And the reason why is I'm lazy. No, well that, but excuse me. The reason why I decided to wait was I wanted to give the novella, which I released last Tuesday, about a week ago, just time to, or maybe myself some time as well. But I'd like to have some time after a release to take care of any problems that may pop up from whether it's just the delivery or if there's to do the marketing or just to kind of get things in order so that it runs very smoothly. So I decided to wait, and also I like to have something to talk about every week, and I figured this would be a good one to talk about. So yes, the Underground Railroad Ball. Please excuse the way I'm speaking. I'm recovering from tongue cancer, so sometimes it's hard for me to enunciate things very well. Is available right now. And if you're interested right now, all you have to do is go down into the description, and there's a link there, and you just click the link. Sign up for my email subscriber list. I'm not going to spam you. I'm not going to sell your email address or anything like that, and you'll get it right away. You can be reading it before we even stop with this broadcast, and we're going to go through those steps here in a minute. So I want to tell you first about why did I write a novella and why am I giving it away? Well, it's all part of a marketing scheme, and I learned this from several people, but mostly from Brian Cohen. And I got his book called Email Marketing for uh, Independent Authors or something like that. And basically, what it is first of all, the email marketing. Why that is so important is that as an author, yes, you have a social media following, but like I have 3,500 people following me on Facebook, but that doesn't mean 3,500 people actually see my posts. In fact, if Facebook knows that I'm marketing, they might actually throttle that back because they want me to pay for that. Uh, Even if I buy marketing, it's very expensive. For what you get and how much you pay for it, especially on Facebook. It can be effective if you do it right, but it's not effective every time you do it right. So it's kind of like playing craps. There's Amazon as well, but having an email list, these are people who want emails from you. There are people that follow you as a writer. They want to know mostly when you're going to have a new book out. They like your writing and they want to stay on top of it. I use mine to tell people the number. I mean, the main reason why I have it for me is so that I can let people know that I have a new book out and here it is, whether it's a pre-order or it's available. But the other things I use it for is to let people know, hey, this book is going to be 99 cents on Kindle for the next week in the UK or the US. Or, hey, I'm going to be at this place signing books. Come out and see me. So it's a way of there is some startup cost, but other than that, it's a free way to advertise to people who want to receive your advertisements. So it really is there's dozens of ways of that you can promote yourself. Having an email list is probably one of the best. I only have 107 people on there right now. I'm hoping to get a lot more. Maybe my goal right now, it's a small goal, but my goal is to have 200 people by the time I put out uh, Black James, which will be at least a year from now, if not two. We'll see. I'm going to give myself plenty of time because that one is going to be a challenge for me as far as writing and researching. But we'll talk about that later. So one of the ways to grow that list is to give people what they call a reader magnet, which could be a short story or, in my case, a novella. It's something that you write and you give to them for free in exchange for them signing up. It's basically sign up for my email list and get this free thing from me. And one of the things that you want to do is make it connected to your series, the main series that you're selling. So people have a reason why they want to have it, but you can't make it essential reading either, but more like extra information that only the insiders get to know, kind of thing. So it's the fine line of balancing that out. And a good thing to do is some kind of prequel, but there's other things. You can take a character from your series and write something about that person. When I got my email list, I started it in 2024, and my goal there was I just want to get it started, and I can't even think about writing a short story or a novella as a giveaway. I had some vague ideas. My original idea was to do something with Carl, who's the main character of my series, a prequel about him leading up to the beginning of Rampage on the River, which is my first book. And in Rampage on the River, he gets in the first chapter, he gets into a duel with Klaus because Carl had taken some liberties with Klaus's sister Anna, and that is in chapter 1. Not the liberties that took place at a ball, but the day after, in which Carl has a confrontation with Klaus, which turns into a duel, if you've read that book or read that first chapter. So I thought that would be fun to kind of back it up and say, well, what brought that on? What was the incident that caused the antagonism between Klaus, who is a character in most of my books, and Carl, who is in, I think, all my, and Carl's even in Mexico, My Love as an infant. But I didn't know if that was enough. And then I don't know where I got the idea, but I was in the shower when it happened. And I was so excited that about a year later, after I started my email list, I jumped out, texted my girlfriend. I said, honey, I've come up with the idea for my novella that I'm going to give away for the to build up my email list. And that was the Underground Railroad Ball. And I just liked how that sounded, like the ball, because I knew that I wanted to have a ball in which the incident between Carl and Klaus, which really is going to play out through the entire series. And if you've read all my books, that animosity, I think the only book that Klaus is not in is he's not in Blood for Blood at Nashville. He's active. He's mentioned in it, but he's just not. He doesn't have a part in it because during that time he's doing something else in the Civil War. But he's in The Prussian Prince and he's in The French Fiasco. And I've always had this very long idea and story arc for Klaus as well. And guess what? The very last book in the series, which is going to be many books from now, is going to have Klaus in it as well. I have long-term plans for him. He's an important character to me. But the idea I came up with was one of my favorite characters is Chester E. Newman. And Chester is Carl's captain in the first 3 books, in the Civil War books. He's the character is based off of a real man, Chester E. Newman, who is the captain of H Company in the 2nd Michigan Cavalry. But that's all I know about him. The only other thing I know about him is that Marshall Thatcher, who wrote 100 Battles in the West, which is the regimental memoir of the Second Michigan, said that that Chester wore a stunning hat, and so that's all I knew. So the Chester that's in those first three books is a very masculine, very confident, um, funny, uh, a good leader. You know, one that gives Carl a hard time, but he's got a good heart, and I've always really liked him. I kind of fashioned him after my uncle Jim. Um, I gave him a little bit of that his personality and a little bit of his quick wit, and so and that's a character I'm going to get back to eventually in some of the later books. But I decided to make it about him because in the beginning of Rampage on the River, Chester is a sheriff's deputy, and 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 I won't go into it because I don't want to spoil Rampage on the River, but he starts Rampage on the River as a deputy. So I thought about what if I'm aware of the Fugitive Slave Act, and if you didn't know this, Detroit sits on the Detroit River, and right across the river is Canada, Windsor, Canada. And if you didn't know, Canada is another country. Although sometimes it's hard to believe that when you're over there. But Canada was part of Britain, and Canada and Britain had had outlawed slavery, not just in England and Britain and the UK and the colonies, but they also had been fighting against the transportation of slaves across the Atlantic. And so Detroit was the last stop for many on the Underground Railroad. And the Underground Railroad was a system of paths and hideouts and safe houses and volunteers that helped enslaved people run away from the plantations, run north, and get to Canada. And Canada had a no extradition policy. So if you made it to Canada, you could not be returned unless you were wanted for an actual crime. You could not be returned to the United States into slavery. So, and if you go to Detroit today, right on the shore or on the banks of the river is a bronze statue of an enslaved family that has run away, pointing across the river to freedom. And so, in the beginning, the Fugitive Slave Act, there's like two of them. One was made in like the 1790s, and then the last one was in 1850, and it was, southern slaveholding states were upset that slaves were running to the north and they were losing their property. So they enacted a federal law that said that local law enforcement in the north had to assist slave catchers in catching runaways and returning them to their owners. And so it handcuffed a lot of states like Michigan into participating in slavery that way. And of course, there was the Underground Railroad Underground Railroad, which was to kind of thwart those actions. So my idea, and by the way, there's a real story about this. This is based off a real story that happened in Detroit, although I changed a little bit of when it happened and used my fictional characters. But there's some real historic characters in it too that were real people that were part of the Underground Railroad in Detroit and civil rights leaders in Detroit at that time, and they're in my book and play a significant role in it. So, so I thought this was I already knew this story, and I realized, holy cow, I'm going to do that story, but I'm going to do it in a version which Chester E. Newman is a deputy and is caught in the between. And here's the thing, Newman in the beginning of Rampage on the River is during that time, you didn't just join the army or, or get commissions. If you wanted to be a captain, an officer, you had to raise your own company. So Chester, at the beginning of Rampage on the River, is raising his own company so that he can get a captaincy in the Second Michigan Cavalry. Cavalry. So the beginning of the Underground Railroad Ball, Chester is a Wayne County sheriff trying to recruit a company of men for the Second Michigan Cavalry. And during this time, some runaways come to Detroit and slave catchers come to Detroit. And Chester, being a sheriff's deputy, is by law and by his oath to uphold the law, has to help the slave catchers return the runaways back to their plantations in the South. And so he's caught in the crossfire of that and the anti-slavery activists in Detroit and his own desire to raise a company so that he can fight for the Union, for the Second Michigan Cavalry. All those things are happening. And in the midst of all this, this is also true, not the one that mine is fictional, but this happened a lot. There were a lot of kids that were going to school in Michigan that were from the South that were sent up to northern universities to get educated. In fact, the I can't remember his name, but the surgeon for the Second Michigan talked about in Ann Arbor, they had a ball where where basically the Southern students were dropping out of school to go back home to fight for their states in the Civil War. And so to say goodbye to them and to have like to show no ill will, they had a ball to say goodbye to these kids. And then once the next day, their northern friends walked them to the station and said, "Hey, be careful out there, and don't worry, I'll be back in a few months." And that's what they thought it was going to be. And that idea was a whole concept at the beginning of Rampage on the River, in that friends are saying goodbye to each other at a train station in Detroit because one of them is going back to Tennessee. It was Kyle. If you've read my book, Kyle Bethune, he's going back to Tennessee to fight for the Confederacy, and his two northern friends are saying goodbye to him at the train station. So, so in this novella, when all this craziness is happening with the fugitives and the Fugitive Slave Act and the slave catchers and the sheriff's deputies, there is a ball, and it takes place at a famous hotel that was a real hotel. It was called the Russell House. It was right there on Woodward and Cadillac Square. It was torn down in 1913, and what's in it now is the nation's first national building, which was built in the 20s. But what was really neat was that I was able to see old photographs of the ballroom and the building itself, and the balcony where some of the action takes place. So you're seeing an image of old Detroit, what Detroit would have looked like in 18 October of 1861. This takes place. Basically, the Underground Railroad Ball, the novella, it's 9 chapters, it's 21,500 words. It takes place, it starts a week before Rampage on the River starts. And it goes all the way up into Rampage on the River has a duel between Carl and Klaus. And if you've read it, the Underground Railroad Ball starts a week before that and ends right at the duel, at the moment of the duel. So that there's a couple ideas behind writing this and giving away for free. One, the main reason was because I wanted to get people to sign up for my email list. But the other part of this is that if you've never read any of my stuff and you get this and you read it for free, first of all, I think this is some of my best writing yet. I didn't want this to be a throwaway Yeah, I knew I was going to give it for free. I knew it was going to be shorter. It's about a fifth the length of a normal novel. Um, I knew it was going to be shorter. I knew it was going to give away for free, but I told myself, you cannot. This is important. This is like an audition for readers. So you have to make this so that they want to read more. So I feel like I've written a great novella. You could read it. I mean, I think you could read it like in 4 hours if you read it straight, or you could read it over the course of a week or a month or however long it takes you. It's in 9 chapters. It's got a great arc. It's in 3 acts. Now, I don't tell you in the book where the acts are, but I'm thinking acts, and I'm always thinking 3 acts. And act one is always introduce the characters, the place, and introduce the conflict. Act two is the development. So now that we know what the conflict is, let's go through its paces and have different things happen. Have the main character try things and fail, all this stuff like that. And then act three is the resolution. So if you do read it, and you'll get this here, you won't get this in the book, but I would say that act one is chapters 1 through 3. Act two is chapters 4 through 7, and then the resolution is chapter 8 and 9. And I think it's very satisfying. You'll like how it ends. It's a good story arc for Chester. I think Chester, he's kind of vain and a little bit selfish. He's not a bad person though, and he's really put on a spot of, will he do the right thing, and what is the right thing? Is the right thing, you swore an oath to uphold the law, and this is the law, even if you don't agree with it. Is that the right thing? Or is the right thing listening to your heart, and what you know in your heart is right and what's wrong? What is the right thing? So I hope you like it. Like I said, I'm very proud of it. I've we've got some downloads. It's not on Amazon, and I'll show you how I do this. I had to get an account with BookFunnel, and BookFunnel is a way of hosting ebooks that are not on Amazon. So if you have it on Amazon, you're selling them. You're selling the ebooks, and of course, with Amazon, I sell ebooks, uh, um, paperbacks, hardcovers, and audiobooks. Most of my titles, all the novels come in those four formats. But this is just ebooks, and I'm also giving away a free glossary. The glossary was more of a test of how the book funnel system would work, and basically, what that is that um, I explain everything in my books pretty well, but I use a lot of archaic or military or sometimes foreign terms, and I usually explain them. But I also put them in the back of the book on a glossary so that if you want to, like, what was that word? What did that word mean again? And I also talk about like military terms, like different units, like what's the difference between a platoon and a company and a regiment and a brigade, those kind of things. I explained that. So what I did is eventually the glossary got too big that I had to make it more specific to each book. So what I decided to do was to compile all the glossaries from all the books and to make a universal one and give that away for free. And that was initially what I was giving away for free with my um, email list. Now, when you join, you get that, but you also get this free novella. So let's take a look at how to do this, and I'll see if this works. If you're watching this and you're like, you know what, this sounds really interesting, and I'll tell you something. Maybe you're not interested in me as the stuff I write, but if you're an author, I've done this. I have joined people's author email lists, their subscriber list, to learn from what they do, and I have downloaded their novellas or their short story. I think I've only got one so far, a short story. No, I think there's more than one. And read it. And so I had an idea of what it would look like. What's it like being a reader? What to expect out of this. So you might want to join my email list just to watch how I'm doing this and to read my. Let me take that down a bit. There we go. and to read my my novella, just to see what a reader magnet or a leader loss is also called, what it might look like. So let's do this. We're going to I'm going to take you through how to get your free copy. So we're going to go share screen. This might get really weird because we're going to open up. You're watching this video live, right? So I'm going to oh, that's weird. Okay, there it is. Let me just see how that looks like on your end. Okay, and it's going to be weird because there's going to be a delay, and hopefully there's no sound coming out of this. All right. Oh, that's weird. I can okay. I can't look at it because I'll go crazy. So I have to roll this up. So if you're watching this right now, come down here where it says, what is this? First of all, like, give me a thumbs up if you would, and subscribe. I don't think I can subscribe to my own channel, but if you will, give me a subscription. But then come down here. So in the description, so my novella, Underground Railroad Ball, is an immediate prequel to this series. You can get it free and immediately by joining my email subscriber list. You can also get updates on new releases, discounts, appearances, more. And so here we go. So I'm going to click that link and let me see if okay. So that opened up a new. I'm going to close that. That opened up a new window, and what I have to do is now share that window. All right. So when you click that link, this is what you're going to get. Let me make sure. This is a landing page. There we go. This is a landing page where that link goes. I built this, and it's very simple. It's just Engdahl House. Here's a picture of the book. Picture of my other books. There's me, my fiddle. And there's only one thing you can do here, and that's subscribe. I don't put anything else here. So join Engdahl House and get a free copy of the Underground Railroad Ball novella. It's a prequel to book one of the Long Century series. You'll get email updates and discounts, new releases, appearances, and general news. Plus, you'll get a free Engdahlian glossary ebook when you join. So I'm going to put my email. I'm already on the list, and I found this is really cool. Since I'm already on the list, it doesn't matter if I keep putting my email. And just so you know, this is not my I mean, I'm putting my personal email on there, but my email subscriber list is something separate than my personal email. That, and if you want that, you can just ask me. I'll give it to you. So I hit subscribe. All right, let me just make sure that changed. So once I subscribed, then it took me to this and it says, "Thank you. I hope you'll enjoy the novella. I'm really proud of it." And then here's the novella and here's the glossary. You can get them both for free. And so let's do free novella. So then it takes you to this book funnel. I do regret that there's so many pages that you have to go through. Takes you here, and then there's the cover for the book, and there's a little blurb here. A sheriff's deputy is caught in the crossfire of duty, morality, and the law when fugitives and slave catchers come to 1861 Detroit. Download your copy of The Underground Ball. And then it says here, this novella is an immediate prequel to Rampage on the River, The Battle for Island Number 10. You don't have to have read any of my books to enjoy this one. In fact, it's a good place to start. Chester G. Newman is a sheriff's deputy in Detroit on the onset of the American Civil War. He wants nothing more than to gain his captaincy in the 2nd Michigan Cavalry. To do so, he must recruit a company of men, but all his plans are thrown into chaos when runaway slaves and slave catchers come to town. With the Fugitive Slave Act still in force, Newman must walk the fine line between his oath to the law and what's right in his heart. So get my book. So when I do that, it pops up here, and I can get it in Apple Book, Book Funnel, Kindle, Kobo, Nook, Read in browser. I think I can also have it emailed to me. I can download it as EPUB here. I can download it as a PDF. or I can save. Let's see what happens if I do read in browser. Okay, start. All right. So I'm gonna, let's say I did. So you can download it. Um, and if I want to read in browser, I can, let's see, at this stage. No, that's not what I want to move. Maybe it's through here. Okay. Stop screen. Okay. And then share screen. Okay. So this is how you read in browser. Let me just make sure that's up. Yeah. Okay. Good. So, and I can back it up here. Oh, okay. So this is what it looks like if you read it in the browser. There's the preface, and then dedication, quote, and then there's chapter 1. Evening, October 1861, Toledo, Ohio. So where it starts. Okay. Let me come back here. If you didn't want to do that, let's see here. Stop screen share. Share screen. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna close that. You could, let's see, get my book. Let me just make sure you're seeing what I'm showing. Yeah, okay, get my book. Free novella. I could download it as okay, get my book. You're seeing it, yep. And then if I want to do it in a Kindle, it gives you, okay, so I'm not going to download because I already have, but you click download file, and then it gives you instructions, and it's not hard. You go to Amazon, this link here, you log into your Amazon account. Once you log in, tap the big yellow select files to from device button on the Amazon and send to Kindle page. I won't read through all this because I'm butchering, but it basically will tell you how to get, if you're a Kindle reader, how to get it from onto your Kindle. Whether you have a Kindle or if you're like me, I do have a Kindle, but I've been reading um, on the app on my phone instead. And even though it's better to read on the actual Kindle, I find that it's it's easier for me to read on my using the app. And the reason being is because I take my phone with me everywhere I go. And so it's always with me. So I can read anywhere. Tomorrow or Wednesday, I have a bunch of doctor's appointments. So I'll be reading there. Also, it's backlit, so I can read it at night. If I'm at Laura's house and she's sleeping, I can read it next to her. So if you look, it's on my Kindle, and I can you can see there's there's the cover right there, and look at that. I can read it right on my Kindle, and so can you. And I'm going to show you if you don't have that. So that's the thing. You don't have to spend $100 buying a Kindle. If you have a phone or a computer, you can get the app for free. Now, of course, you can also read it on a Nook, which is like the Barnes and Noble version of this. There's an Apple version of it. There's multiple. I think the Book Funnel one is just a regular EPUB file. I'm not quite sure, but it's all these different formats you can use. Let's say for instance, I'm going to shut some of this down. Shut all this down. Let's say that you did all this, but you were not ready to download the book right away. And then 2 days later, you're like, oh shoot, how do I get that book? How do I get back to that page? Well, I did see that there was a way of bookmarking it, but I also set it up so that when you sign up for my email list, you're going to get 2 automated emails. So you're going to get one right away. You're going to get one 4 days later. The one that you get right away is going to look like this. So I just signed up again. So let me go into my email box. And let's see here. Okay, there we go. And I just signed up, so I should have gotten a new email from me. Huh. Oh, I think it's some time. Let me find it in the trash because I think let's see. Okay, yeah, this one. This is it right here. I replied to myself so that it looks like I have so I have this set up so that when you sign up for my email list, you automatically get this email sent to your inbox. And the reason why I do that is that there's a sign up page that immediately goes to a thank you page that gives the opportunity to download the book. But I thought, well, what if that person can't download it right away and then later on doesn't know how to get back there? So I made it so an automated email goes to your box as well. That once again gives you the opportunity to download it. So it'll say, did you get your free novella? Now available and free. It's here. You can download it now. And then here's once again the blurb. And here is the book. You can click that, or you can click the button down here. And this is what I wanted to show you real quick. In the email, I created a button that takes you to the free Kindle app. So if you don't have a Kindle and you want to read this on your phone or you want to read it on the app, you can click that button and it'll take you to this page right here. And let me see if I can show that to you. Stop. And then share screen. Oops. I hit the wrong button. Hang on. That's punishment. Okay. Present. Share screen. There we go. Yeah. So when you click that button, it should take you here. And let me make sure it popped up over on this side. Yep, there it is. Okay, good. And then this right here shows you how you can get a free app to use to read ebooks. So you don't need to own a Kindle to read Kindle. You can read it on your phone or your Android, on your PC, your laptop, your tablet, your Mac, iBook, iPad, whatever you want. So PC and Mac, you read it on the web, Google Play, and the App Store, all those different places. So there's no, if you own a computer and you have to because you're watching this, right? And you're getting emails, you can read this book. You don't need to have a Kindle to read it. And if you don't want to download the app, you can download it as a PDF file and just read it that way. And anybody can open a PDF file on a computer or a phone. So okay, so let me take that down. Stop share and share screen. And we'll go back to this email here that I'm showing you. There it is. Okay. So also there's a link right here. Even though it's not for sale, I was able to create a page for it on Goodreads. So if you want to give it a 5-star review, you can click here and go to Goodreads to do that. We'll do that in a second. So here is the link. Once again, it's going to open it up in another page, but open that for you. Share screen, and So just like on that thank you page that we went through, the same thing. So if you get the email, you can also get to this point, that email. And once again, once you're there, you can, get my book, and then it gives you these options of whether you want to get an Apple Books, on BookFunnel, Kindle, Kobo, Nook, read it in the browser, have it sent to an email, get it as an EPUB, a PDF file, or save this page for later. So the other thing that is that you can do from, close that, close this too, and the other thing you can do is, oops, okay, let's get back to where we are. I wish I could. I think it's because I have the free version of StreamYards. I can't have multiple things waiting, um, multiple pages set up. So also what you can do on this email is you can rate and review it. So I gave a link. And once again, when I click on that, it opened up another tab. So what I will do is I will go to that tab and oops, share screen. And here we go. So I've created, make sure that pops up over here. I have created an entry for it on Goodreads, which is a place where people can review books. And so I gave it 5 stars. Of course I did. But you can come here, you can give it 5 stars or whatever you think it deserves. You can write a review like I did. If you're like me, I move that up. Why am I advertising for someone else? There we go. There we go. I do the yearly. Oh, my computer's broke. There we go. I do the yearly challenge of trying to read 12 novels a year, and that means a novel a month. Now I have superseded that. I've read 21 novels. I do this on Goodreads, and Goodreads tracks it. So if you want to read my novella as one of your novels for the year, you can set that up on Goodreads as well. And if you're not on Goodreads, I'm not saying you should. I like it. It's a good place to kind of keep track of what I'm reading and see what other people. It's like Facebook for readers is um, basically it. So anyway, that's it. That what do I want? I want this. I'm gonna remove that. I'm gonna come full screen. Okay, great. So anyway, that's it from me. The novella is out. I hope that you read it. And I'll tell you something. If you really don't want to get emails from me about new releases, you can always um, sign up for my email subscriber list, get the free novella, and then unsubscribe, and I will never be the wiser. It's more important to me that you read the novella than anything else. I mean, it really is like, I want to make money, and I feel like what I'm doing now is an investment into the future. But really, what's more important to me right now is that I'm building a readership. I'm building a base of readers who hopefully will come around and not only read all the books I have out now, at least the novels, read all the novels I have out now, but will be there when Black James comes out. And will be there when the next book comes out, which I think is going to be a Middle Eastern adventure for Carl, and be there for the next 4 novels. And the one where the last one of the series I have planned out, which might be called Carl's Last Stand, or there's some other names as well. which will be the true encapsulation of the whole series. And the other things I've just I haven't made a hard decision, but what I'm deciding to do is Black James is a departure from the series. It's connected to the series. It's based off of a character that is in Mexico, My Love. But like Mexico, My Love was a prequel. Um, Black James, it's not a prequel. It's a character novel about James that you meet in Mexico, My Love. It starts in 1803, and I think it's going to go all the way up to 1846. Um, it's not going to be a numbered novel in the series. It's going to be adjacent to the series, if that makes any sense. And then the next book will be book 7, which will be the Middle Eastern. I don't have a name for it yet. I had a name, but I don't know if I'm going to use it anymore. Will be the Middle Eastern adventure. And then, I have a Middle Eastern adventure, a Western, a Japanese adventure, and then a beginning of World War One adventure. And those are the main books of the series that are going to happen. Black James is an adjacent related to the series, but not a numbered. Does that make sense? I think what I would like to do is, now that I've, like, the first 6 novels I'm very proud of, and the French Fiasco certainly gives the series a nice resting point, a nice capstone that kind of finishes a major story arc that starts in the first book, Rampage on the River, and runs all the way through, even in the prequel, Mexico, My Love, which is very important to it, and then afterwards with the Prussian Prince and then the French Fiasco, kind of encapsulates everything up to this point. It's a great place with resting point. So now I'm getting away from the main sequence and I'm writing Black James, and then I'm going to come back to the main sequence and do the Middle Eastern. And then I think what I'm going to do, I have other novels that I want to write, some of which might be series. Black James could be a series if it's popular enough, but I'm not planning it to be a series, but I'm not saying it won't be. I think I might want to do my own Napoleonic Wars. And I have an idea for book 1, and I have an idea for book 2. Book 2 was going to be its own standalone, but I've decided that instead it's going to be book 2. And I'm really excited about that. So what I might do is do Black James, do my Middle Eastern main series sequence, then do a Napoleonic War book, then do the next book of this Karl, the Long Century, which would be the Western, then do the second of the Napoleonic War book, then do the Japanese one, then maybe there's some other ideas I have that I'm looking at. A American Revolutionary War, which would be a standalone. I do want to get into the Renaissance, like somewhere between 1450 and when men start wearing wigs. Somewhere in between, I have an idea for that. That might be a series in itself, and that's about as far as I'm going to talk about it now, because this will be maybe decades till I get to it. And then do the final of the Long Century, the final Karl book. And then after that, I have an interbellum between World War I and World War II book that I want to write. And then who knows, maybe the Napoleonic books are doing really well and I'll write more of those, or maybe the Black James thing is doing well and I'll write more of those, or maybe it'll be time to get into my my Renaissance books. We'll see. That's kind of the plan. I'm not holding myself to it. I can tell you this: the plan is right now, and I've already started a little bit, is to start writing Black James, or to write Black James, get that out, and then write the next Carl book, which will be book 7 of the series, and it'll be a Middle Eastern adventure. That's the plan for right now. Anyway, I love you guys. Thanks for listening. I really do hope that you go down into the description and get your free copy of the novella. If you really don't want to give up your email, you really don't want to give it up, send me a message and I'll send you the book without you having to join my email list. But you can join my email list and then unsubscribe if you want. It's the easiest way to get it. But what I really hope is that you read it. It's free. It's probably my best work yet. And let me know what you think about it. So if you're a writer, keep writing. And if you're a writer, you should be a reader too, as I am. And if you're a reader like me, keep reading. And if you can, and this is what I do, I practice what I preach. If you're a reader, if you can, when you get done, jump on Goodreads, or if you only do one, jump on Amazon, give that author 5-star review. I just got a 2-star review for Rampage on the River. I mean, it's 4 stars average. I got 5 stars, but someone just gave me a 2-star review and said it wasn't their cup of tea. I can't remember else what they wrote. But they said they only got through 50 pages and they quit. So, that's just one bad one. But what I'm saying is, you get those. If you're going to write books and you're going to publish them, you're going to get bad reviews. It's going to happen. You can't get caught up in that. Thankfully, I got plenty of good reviews. But what I'm saying is, help an author out, because every author out there gets a bad 2-star or 1-star review. Help them get their averages back up by giving them a 5-star review. If you don't want to write anything, just give them 5 stars. They'll love you for it. If you can say, "Hey, I really like the book, couldn't put it down," that'd be great too. You do it at Amazon. The next step would be to do it on Goodreads as well. It really helps your authors because the algorithm, the more reviews you have, the higher average of stars. Usually want to stay above 4 stars. The more Amazon's going to show it to other people. And also it helps other people find, that person's work, especially if you like it. So I love you. Keep reading. And I'll be back next week with something. I'm not quite sure what it might be. It might be my review of Pinson Wu's. It's the 3rd book of his War of the Three Kingdoms. Please forgive me, Baptiste, for not remembering the name of the book. It's not Forest of Foes. That's the 4th one. It's Dynasty Killers is the 4th book. I'm reading that, or the 3rd book. I'm reading that now. I'm enjoying it. Yeah, Dynasty Killers. That's what I'm reading. I'm reading it now. I probably won't be done next week. I'm slowing down a little bit with my reading. I'm 43% through, so it won't be done, but I'll have something. Anyway, I'm rambling. I love you. Keep reading, keep writing, and we'll see.